At 64, Tom Cruise remains the undisputed king of Hollywood's billion-dollar machinery, sprinting through exploding streets, scaling the 2,700-foot glass face of the Burj Khalifa with bare hands and dangling from a flying Airbus A400M at 5,000 feet. To the global audience, he is the last true movie star, an ageless, death-defying icon who has spent 40 years refusing to acknowledge the existence of gravity or time. But behind the invincible legend lies a confession that no stunt coordinator could ever script. Tom Cruise has finally revealed the one woman he never forgotten, the one who occupied the space in his heart before the name. Tom Cruise became a global trademark. This is not a biography. This is the anatomy of a man who conquered the planet but lost the map to his own soul. To understand why Tom Cruise is obsessed with absolute 360-degree control, you have to look at the cracked, freezing pavement of Syracuse, New York in 1970. Long before the red carpets of Cannes and the private Gulfstream jets, there was Thomas Cruise Mapother, the fourth boy born into a domestic war zone. He didn't grow up with the safety of a silver spoon. He grew up in the fluctuating shadow of a father he later described as a merchant of chaos. A man who was a bully, a coward, and a specialist in emotional instability. By the age of 12, Tom had moved 15 times, attended over a dozen different schools across the US and Canada, and lived in a perpetual state of hypervigilance, waiting for the next strike or the next sudden relocation. He was the perpetual new kid, the boy with severe dyslexia who couldn't read a single page of a textbook without the letters, performing a chaotic dance of defiance. He was bullied relentlessly for his height, for his struggle to fit in, and for the unmistakable scent of poverty that clung to his family like a second skin. The root wound of Tom Cruise is the devastating realization that the world is an unsafe place, where the people supposed to protect you are often the ones who provide the most pain. In 1980, at 18, he left home with exactly $3 in his pocket and a pair of shoes that were literally falling apart. He didn't move to New York to become a star. He moved to build a fortress. He slept on the couches of strangers and worked as a busboy, a porter, and a janitor, scrubbing the very floors that he would one day walk upon as a cinematic god. He didn't choose acting because he loved the stage. He chose it because he needed to manufacture a new identity, one so powerful and so controlled that the ghosts of Thomas Mapother III could never find him. He conquered his dyslexia through a sheer, brutal force of will and trained his physical body to be a high-performance weapon. He wasn't born a star. He beat the darkness of his past until it had no choice but to turn into light. He didn't find a career. He engineered a reality where he would never be powerless again. In 1986, the Golden Illusion achieved supersonic speeds. Top Gun was released and the world was introduced to Maverick. It was more than a summer blockbuster. It was a cultural coronation that turned a 24-year-old into the face of Western masculinity. Chasing $357 million at the box office, Tom Cruise became the primary currency of Hollywood. Every teenager on the planet wanted his leather jacket, his Ray-Ban aviators, and his unbreakable confidence. He was 24, and the world was his for the taking. The paychecks swelled from thousands to a flat $20 million per film, and his residences morphed into sprawling high-security estates guarded by teams that functioned with military precision. He married Mimi Rogers, the woman who introduced him to the world of Scientology, a system that offered the ultimate promise of self-mastery and emotional repression. For the boy who grew up in chaos, a religion of technology and data was the ultimate sanctuary. Then came Nicole Kidman. For 11 years, they were the undisputed sun and moon of the industry. They were the power couple, seemingly untouchable, seemingly perfect. But if you look at the micro details of that era, the illusion begins to crack. Cruise was working 300 days a year. He was obsession personified, refining every line of dialogue, every camera angle, and every marketing campaign with a clinical intensity that left no room for domestic spontaneity. The golden illusion was that he had it all. The reality was a man drifting further and away from genuine human connection. The marriages didn't fail because of a lack of chemistry. They failed because Tom Cruise was married to a $100 million machine that he had built specifically to survive his childhood. He sought perfection in his wives and his children, and in his image, forgetting that human love is inherently messy, flawed, and uncontrollable. When Nicole left in 2001, it wasn't just a divorce. It was the shattering of a decade-long performance. He could control the screen, but he could never control the exit of a heart. By 2006, the machine was under siege. The public image of the perfect hero was being replaced by the couch jumper. His marriage to Katie Holmes was treated by the media like a scripted thriller. When Katie orchestrated her departure in 2012 with the precision of a high-stakes intelligence operation using burner phones and secret apartments to escape the reach of his security teams, it was a public humiliation that the billion-dollar box office couldn't fix. Behind the gates of his Beverly Hills mansion was a man who could rescue a world on the brink of nuclear destruction on screen, but who couldn't save his own Sunday afternoon with his daughter, Suri. He has achieved every professional milestone imaginable, from the Legion d'Honneur to billion-dollar hauls for Top Gun Maverick. Yet he remains the most isolated man in show business. The paradox is complete. The man whose face is recognized in every corner of the globe is also the man whom no one truly knows. He outran the pain of Syracuse, but in the process he outran his own humanity. Now at 64, the revelation has emerged from the silence. The woman Tom Cruise never forgot was the one who existed in the quiet, grainy spaces of the early 1980s, before the noise of Hollywood became a deafening roar. She was there during the $3 pocket years. She was the one who saw the boy before he became a brand, the one who accepted the dyslexia, the poverty, and the raw, unpolished hunger for validation. This wasn't a strategic alliance or a red carpet power move. It was a pure, unadulterated connection that was eventually sacrificed on the altar of the A-list. Tom Cruise has admitted that, as his career reached terminal velocity, he made a cold, calculated decision to become the greatest actor in the world. He had to leave it as past, and that woman behind. It was a bargain he made at 25 that he now views with a bitter late-night clarity at 64. He chose the immortality of the celluloid image over the mortality of a real relationship. The micro-details of his life on the set of Mission Impossible 8 reveal a man living in a state of high-octane mourning. Crew members describe a man who is the first to arrive and the last to leave. A man who fills every waking second with work to avoid the crushing silence of a house where no one is waiting. In the dead of night, in his mobile production trailer, he is often seen looking at old blurry Polaroid photos from 1982. These aren't the high-definition airbrushed press shots of his high-profile marriages. They are candid, unpolished snapshots of a time when he had nothing but a person who believed he could be someone. The cost of his success is written in the permanent distance between him and his youngest child. He can pilot a F-18 through a canyon, but he cannot fly across the emotional canyon that separates him from his own flesh and blood. Success didn't cure his loneliness. It simply gave him a bigger stage to be lonely on. The twilight angle of the Tom Cruise story is the most poignant. We see him now, not as the cocky, grinning pilot of 1986, but as a man who has run out of track. He is still physically elite, still the hardest working man in the industry, but his famous blue eyes tell a story of profound exhaustion. He has spent his entire life trying to outrun the pain of being that bullied boy in Syracuse, using the adrenaline of death-defying stunts to keep the internal silence at bay. But at 64, the silence is finally winning. His recent revelations are not a PR strategy. They are an act of surrender. He is finally admitting that the mission was never truly impossible. It was just a massive, decades-long distraction from the fact that he was terrified of being alone with himself. He is teaching us a brutal, cinematic lesson about the American dream. You can reach the absolute peak of the mountain, but if you don't have anyone to watch the sunset with, the view is just a cold reminder of how far you are from the ground. Fame gave him the world, but it systematically took away his chance to grow old without the one person who truly understood him. Today, Tom Cruise is not sprinting toward a new horizon. He is running back toward the memory of a time when love didn't require a non-disclosure agreement. He is the last of his kind, a star that burns so bright it consumes everything in its orbit, including the man at its very center. He has built a monument to his own talent, a golden statue of a career that will never be replicated, but the room at the top of that monument is empty. The woman he never forgot remains the only part of his story that wasn't for sale to the studio or the church. He won the war for Hollywood's soul, but he lost the battle for his own happiness. As we look back on the 40 years of filmography that has defined our lives, we can now see the echoes of his personal tragedy in every frame. We see the boy searching for a father in Rain Man. We see the man struggling to find his soul in Jerry Maguire. And we see the hero trying to outrun death in every Mission Impossible. Every performance was a cry for validation from a world that had once rejected him for being too small and too poor. But today, the billions of dollars and the standing ovations feel hollow. The only thing that stays is the memory of who he was before the world told him who he had to be. Tom Cruise is 64, and he has finally revealed that even the most powerful man in the world has one that got away. The resolution of his story is one of quiet reflection. He isn't asking for our pity. He is providing a final verdict on the price of the A-list. He has realized that the red carpet is just another kind of cold pavement, and the applause is just noise that fades. As soon as the house lights go up, the only thing that is real is the person who knew you when you had nothing but a dream and $3. The mission is over. The stunts are finished. The man remains. And for the first time in 64 years, Tom Cruise is standing still. The legend is immortal. The man is finally real. What lesson can we take from the high-speed journey of Tom Cruise? Perhaps it is that we should cherish the people who knew us before the world gave us a title, for they are the only ones who will still know us when the title is gone. Fame is a beautiful gift, but it is also a wall. It protects you from the world, but it also prevents the world from reaching you. Tom Cruise conquered the wall, but he found himself standing alone on the other side. He is the ultimate action hero, a man of iron discipline, but he is also a cautionary tale for anyone who thinks that professional success can replace personal sincerity. So as we wait for the next airplane stunt and the next sprinting sequence, and we will look at him differently. We will see the man who never forgot the girl from the Polaroids. We will see the boy from Syracuse who did exactly what he promised his mother. He made sure she never struggled again. But we will also see the man who paid the price for that promise with his own heart. Tom Cruise is 64. The secret is out, and the ending is finally painfully cinematic. Thank you for watching this deep dive into the vulnerable heart of a legend. If you want more stories that peel back the airbrushed layers of Hollywood to find the human truth, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your favorite Tom Cruise memory in the comments below. Let's celebrate the man, not just the movie star. We will see you in the next one where the secrets are deep and the truth is always more than what meets the eye. The king is on his throne, but he is finally looking at the horizon, at a past that is finally, irrevocably, his own. The silence, for once, is peaceful. The mission is truly complete.